Hey everybody, want to pop on here for a second? Hello, hello, hello. I hope everybody's having an awesome day. I was just on before. I keep trying to go live and it's just not working out for me today. So I hope everybody's having a great day. Hello. Happy Sunday. I'm just leaving the store right now and I wanted to just talk really quick about the shenanigans that I had to deal with this week. Listen, I had a podcast interview today, okay, with this woman named Bogey. I didn't even realize that she was like on TV. She's like a TV mechanic or whatever, and very very cool chick. But I had an interview with her, and I have to say, like, I really had a good interview. Like, I really had a very good interview. I liked what we talked about. I really liked the conversation. I thought she's just awesome to talk to. Do you know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of podcasts fail in this regard. I was saying this in my last live, with trying to be engaging and like just being interesting to listen to. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of them are very cheesy. They're very cut and dry. Hey, Solo, I'm here now. I'm sorry. Sorry for the delay. I have a couple minutes. I couldn't do it in the store. It was just too much. There was tons of people there. I'm like, you know what? It's whatever. But yeah. Anyway, so like I was saying on my last live, it's interesting how like people will do podcasts and stuff and they'll want to like talk, and I always love hearing different podcasts, but a lot of people aren't that good at interviewing. Like, there's a whole technique with interviewing people and making it not sound robotic and making it not sound like it's scripted. And I remember when I had my podcast, I was always complimented on that because I try not to make it sound like, you know, fake, you know what I mean, like, or I'm reading off of a script. So this woman Bogey, she did a really really good job. And but buddy, you don't follow me back on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram that much, but I will definitely look back, and I try to follow everybody who follows me back. We are good friends now. Anyway, so yeah, that's the whole thing with you threw me off. I had a thing going. Yeah, so when people have podcasts, I really like listening to other people having podcasts and listening to you know, just to other whatever topics, things like that. But that's one thing that people would say about me, right, when I had a podcast, is that I try to make it sound like a conversation. I try to make it even sound like an interview. I try to make it sound like you know, like we're actually having a conversation as opposed to like being like, oh, Q&A, 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 you know, because it sounds disingenuous in my opinion. So there are a lot of podcasts out there that are really good, and I feel like she's definitely in the demographic that is a good podcast. I remember I was saying in my last live that you know, I've been interviewed by other people and they just were not that good. You know, like, it's very few and far between. Maybe only 3 people, I would say, that I was kind of like leading the whole thing, which is okay. You know, everybody has a different style, and I'm from New York, so we're all talkers here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you want to be organic though with your podcast, you know. But anyway, so I just want to talk about that, and it was a really good take. She interviews a lot of different tradeswomen in the field and stuff, so it was cool. But there's topics that like she wants to cover that she's scared to cover because she's worried about backlash. And I told her, I was like, just cover them. Who cares? Just cover them. There's a lot of like elephants in the room when it comes to like women being in construction, and she's trying to keep it all PC and stuff like that. I was like, but you really gotta get in there. You know what I mean? It says my English was not good as like you, but you. I'm sorry. Let me go back to that. I can't. My English was not good as like you, but you understand me good. No, you're good. Yeah, you're good. Your English is good. I can understand you. I speak Spanglish, you know, when I'm trying to speak to somebody who's Spanish or Italian. You know, I speak very broken languages, so it's all good. We all got to start somewhere, you know. But yeah, anyway, so like that was that earlier. And she did a freaking good job, man. She did a really good job, especially when you're trying to get information from people. It's hard to get information from people in like an actual interview setting because it does come off like, for me personally, that's a complete turn off. I'm like, off. I don't want to hear it, especially when they're like fake and they have like the vocal fry. Like, I cannot. I'm a real pain in the ass with that. Like, I don't like that stuff. I like genuine contact with people, genuine, authentic. That's the best way to like get information out of people, right? So anyway, so yeah, I did that, and then I had a massage in the morning, and then my friend texted me earlier. He posted something on Instagram, and he got into like a horrible car accident. Like, literally looked awful. Like like it looked horrible. He sorry, my freaking phone's on its last legs. I'm not buying another smartphone, so my iPhone's got to do for these kind of things. So he posts a video, and it's like he got freaking rear-ended by a truck on the Long Island Expressway, and he got thrown into a tree, and the guy kept going, so it was a hit and run. And I'm like, you're lucky your kids weren't in the back seat. Kids could have been killed, like would have been killed like that. And the person just left. Can you imagine getting into an accident and like just hightailing it out of there? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I think that's insane. I couldn't live with myself. The last thing this person saw was my friend being wrapped around a friggin' tree. Like, how is that okay? Can you imagine that though? Like, even I don't care. Like we were saying too, where like he was probably drunk or high or whatever, didn't have his papers, whatever it was. But I'm shocked. I'm shocked that somebody would actually do that. It's disgusting. Could have killed him. You know, could have killed him. I was like, you had an angel watching you. You know, like ridiculous. But yeah, that happened, and the drivers are just a solo. I don't know how it is in India, but like the drivers here, it's awful. They're in Long Island specifically. Like these people are freaking cowboys. Like they're literal cowboys. I can't handle it. They're so freaking narcissistic. Think they're the only ones on the road. It's like I cannot. And my oldest is learning how to drive right now, and I'm petrified for it because I just feel like people just don't know how to drive. They're so dangerous. You know, even like at the job sites and stuff, like people, you know, going 40 miles an hour in a friggin', 15 mile an hour parking lot, 10 mile an hour parking lot. It's ridiculous. But if anybody has any questions, let me know in the comments below. Hold on one second. Let me go back down here. Yeah, it's probably the same thing. It's probably the same thing by you. You know what's funny, Solo, is I actually saw a movie last night. I love this movie since I was like a little girl. It's what is it? A Little Princess, and it's with, I forgot her name. What is her name? I forgot the lead actress's name. She's a philanthropist, but it's such a good. It's based in New York City, but like at an all-girls school. But she talks about her roots in India. And there's like a heavy Indian theme throughout the movie. It's such a beautiful movie. I love it so much. People don't care about street dogs. Oh no, they hit dogs? Wait, are you saying they hit dogs, or are you calling them street dogs? I've never heard that before. That's funny. Yeah, but the movie had like a heavy Indian theme. I love that movie, A Little Princess. It's such a good movie. It's definitely one of like my favorite freaking 90s movies ever. Her name is Meet Brooke. Yeah, that's my name. Hi. Street dogs. Oh God, no! They hit dogs. It's horrible. It's horrible. Absolutely awful. I can't handle it. People they just cannot drive. But the fact that like this guy he got friggin' rear-ended on the Long Island Expressway, which is a huge. I think my phone's overheating. It's literally a huge expressway. It's a parkway here in Long Island. It's a huge parkway. The fact that like the guy kept going, like what a scumbag. You know what I mean? Like, can you even imagine? I couldn't live with myself if I thought the last scene of somebody hitting a tree and I'm just dipping. I'm just going past. He probably was high, and this happened in the morning. The guy was going to work. And luckily he has his girlfriend who has, a vehicle that they can take to and from work. But he's like, this is an expense I can't afford. I don't even have the person's insurance information. But it's, insane. Completely insane. Solo, who are you talking to? Are you talking to me? Who are you talking to? I don't know if I can't see somebody else in the comments. And I don't have anybody blocked, so I let people come here. They can say whatever they want. I don't give a damn. I mean, people say like the nastiest stuff too, but just trolls, That's what I would say. I would just like trolls on the internet, yeah, that's that's the case. Yeah, and like I said this before, like I call myself Meet Brooke because, hey, my name's Brooke. Meet Brooke. Hey, what's up? There's this guy named Meet Kevin. I always liked his name. I like that that like aesthetic, you know what I mean? Like, oh, meet this person, this is who this person is. And, I try to, like I said, I try to cover different things on this channel, but I don't know. I'm going to make another video soon. Oh, you were talking about me. Okay. All right, Solo. Where in India do you live? I always wanted to visit. Ironically enough, my kids go to a school where there's a lot of like, especially in the medical field, like Indian families that are straight up from India. One of them has an Indian restaurant here in Stony Brook, and I've always wanted to visit India just because of like the climate and like the animals. You know what I mean? Like the tigers and the elephants, and it's like it seems like such a beautiful place. I've always wanted to visit India. India, Africa, Zimbabwe, specifically. Uh, the lions, just like this, go to like the Serengeti. I really, really, really want to travel. That's one thing I have to say about having my daughters young is that I feel like, I can kind of, the world is like still open for me. It's open at any age, but like still having the vitality to be able to like go to like, off-roading or do like a, what the hell is that called? Like a safari adventure or something like that. But I really think, it's funny. So I know this guy, his name's Tinashe Tizibasa. It's actually a very long name, but he's somebody that I was very close with. COVID happened. Then he didn't come to America for a long time. And we just recently reconnected. But he was an orphan at this orphanage called Zim Kids, okay? And he was in an orphanage. He got poisoned, but he has a crazy story. I should really like have him on some point. And I'm not a podcast, but I'm just saying, just like have it if when he comes to America, maybe he could be here and I'll go live and we'll talk. But so he has a crazy story. So he got poisoned by his aunt. So in Africa, sorry, it's still too bright. They're like starving, right? Like in certain areas, it's just straight up poverty. You're literally like, you're just living in squalor, right? So there were a lot of kids. There's like an HIV epidemic over there. It's awful, awful. So there were too many mouths to feed. His parents were not around, and his aunt tried poisoning him. And he was sent to an orphanage when he was 9 years old. And he had this condition where, I don't know if you've ever seen like the little like the little kids that have like the swollen bellies. It's really, really sad. It's really hard to look at. But that's like it's a condition. I forgot what the condition's called. But he had that, and he persevered through all of his health adversities and just like the adversity of being in a family that pretty much tried to kill him. He overcame that, and he became a coordinator, like a camp coordinator at his orphanage. And then he got a little older, and he started doing more and more and more things with his life. And he became very close with the coordinator, this guy named David, who runs Zim Kids in Zimbabwe. And he got close with him, and he started to run the program. And he's in charge of like 350 orphans in this program. And the stories that this man has told me are completely outrageous. Like, they're outrageous. The testing that they want to do on these kids, it's like, it's completely heartless. But when it comes to, just the community that they have there, they have a strong community, which a lot of people don't realize about that. They think like, because in America, especially like we live a very good life here. A lot of people want to say whatever they want to say, but we live a very good life here. When you look at other countries and like what they have to deal with and the opportunities that they don't have, it's easy to be grateful for what you have here in America. A lot of people don't realize that. So when you look at other areas, like I was talking to this one guy because my girls are going to Greece, Italy, and Turkey next year, and he was telling me that when he was in Italy, it wasn't Italy, I think it was Greece. He said that he was a teenager, and he's an older gentleman now, but he was a teenager, and he was at a restaurant, and he said that he'll never forget there were children begging for food in front of the restaurant, like 9, 10 years old, begging for food. And they were hungry. They looked, it just looked awful, right? People were giving them their scraps, things like that. And he said that it left such an impression on his head that everywhere is not the same, like there's different parts of the world that are just not fair to people. They're not fair to children. It's not fair to animals, like they just are different. They're very different. So I learned that. He just told me that recently, like 2 weeks ago. And I just remember what Tinashe had told me about how difficult it is to live in an area where sometimes when there's droughts, there's no food, so you're like pretty much trying to hit animals. We have roadkill here, but in Africa, they'll like be trying to hit animals to bring something home, So it's crazy. Like a lot of people want to say, oh, America's this, America's that, but they've never even met somebody in another country that's from a third world country that they have nothing, they have literally nothing. So I think if more people saw that, they would be more appreciative of what we have here in America. You could literally come here, have nothing, and they'll set you up. Like we're a different beast here. We just straight up are. He'll talk about how they'll have like philanthropists that'll build water like wells over in Africa, and they're even just getting water, getting mail. Getting mail could take months. It's not even guaranteed. If you try to send a care package, I remember one time I was like, let me send a care package during Christmas for these kids, and he's like, it's never going to make it here. People steal it. Like in the post office, they'll literally go through the care package and they'll take what they want, and you'll never see it. So it's like even our own industrial systems here in the States, like it's totally different. Even sending a letter, I was like, oh, why? I wanted my girls to have pen pals in Africa. I was like, oh, maybe they can talk to the village kids. He's like, these kids don't know how to write. So it's just crazy when you think of it. Like it's such a disadvantage, But so I don't blame people for trying to come to the States. I mean, there's other problems with it, but it's crazy. It just gives you another perspective. You know what I'm saying? It does give you another perspective. But also the system that we have, you have to pay taxes. There's things that you have to do that you should not be able to circumvent because it screws people that are working hard and their taxes are going to pay for health insurance. And that's a whole other freaking topic that I don't want to get into. But I thought that was interesting. And that was the movie that I watched last night, A Little Princess. I just wanted to mention that solo because of the Indian undertones of the movie and the storytelling and things like that, and just like the Hinduism and stuff. I thought it was neat. But let me go. I think I missed a comment or something. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah. What name you say? Repeat, buddy. Oh, his name was Tinashe Basa. He's actually a rapper in Zimbabwe. Calls himself Tizzy. Their culture is very good. In Zimbabwe? I don't know about their culture. I just know what he told me. The high instances of HIV and like just food. There's really not a lot of resources. Even like he was trying to build a stereo system, and even getting parts is like impossible. It's crazy. And you would think like how do they live? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's so like even right now I'm in a freaking Whole Foods parking lot. I'm in the LA Fitness is right there. I can go to Old Navy across the street and go to freaking Trader Joe's, go to a bank, Charles Schwab. Like it's just a different world here. It's just a very different world here. But yeah, I wanted to share that. And the podcast, I think, is what she did earlier when I was talking about earlier with this podcast that I was on with Bogey. I think she did a really good job at having a conversation Indian culture. Okay, yeah. Like I said, I'm very interested in that. Very, very interested in that. Would love to visit India one day. But yeah, I think she did a great job, and I'll share that when I have it up. And for anybody who's interested in listening to it. There's a lot of things that people don't talk about being in construction, being in the trades, and I think it would be a good conversation for people to open up, even if you're not interested. It's still just something like, oh, it's cool, I didn't know that, or oh, that's interesting, you put it in a different way. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just one of those things. But if anybody has any questions, let me know. I'm gonna drive in a second. I can't live stream and drive. I see some of these. I'm like scrolling India. I'm scrolling YouTube, and I see people that are live streaming, driving, eating. I'm like, what? Don't you look at the camera? I mean, granted, I have to wear sunglasses right now because of my eyes, but I'm sorry, I missed that solo. What was that? Indian culture is very good and beautiful. I hope you enjoy when you come here. I'll be there one day. Absolutely. Especially for the elephants, I'll be there. I'll be there at some point. We'll see how it goes. I thought I was going to go to India and Australia, actually, when right before COVID. I was I was doing some outreach. I was the American representative for the palm oil accreditation. I don't know if they're even still around. POFCAP, I think they call them. It's like a long name, and it was about palm oil, and it was about like the certification of having products not with palm oil, And I was going to go to Australia and visit the women there in Adelaide. And then, shortly before that, COVID happened. So, shortly after that, COVID happened. But then I wanted to go to India, and there was a client she was a podcast guest that I had, and she was very interesting. She had her own line, her own clothing line, very big clothing line, and I want to say she was from India, but this was in Colombia. And I remember thinking, I was like, I really got to make my way over there. I got to make my way over there. Especially because there's this one person that I had that I had many conversations with. Her name's Barute Mary Galdakis, and she's fascinating. She's actually from Borneo, Indonesia, and well, she doesn't live there. I believe she was from England, and she worked with Jane Goodall a lot on different various projects, and she was like taking care of orangutans, like orangutan babies. And this is really the area of like having a podcast that I loved, because I met people that were so fascinating. So fascinating. You know, it's crazy that in our society will glorify, you know, like 20 somethings that are doing mukbangs and dancing and friggin' TikToks and all this other stuff. But like, you have people out there that are literal powerhouses, moving mountains, helping, you know, species, helping people that could never help them, and they get no recognition at all. So I have to say, when I had my podcast, it really opened my eyes to a lot. Have you any Indian friends without me? Yes, I have several Indian friends. I do. I have several Indian friends. But it really opened up my eyes to like just how many people are out there doing good things. And yeah, it's such cool stuff. I mean, I remember one time I was talking to Barute Galdakis on the phone, and I hear this like cooing, and it's like this, like, it sounded like a baby. And I'm like, oh, I was like, who's that in the background? And she's like, oh, this is Baxter. And I was like, oh, who's Baxter or whatever. And it was a baby orangutan that she was feeding with a bottle. And I just hear it making noises. She's like, stop grabbing my necklace. And I'm like, oh my God. It was like a baby orangutan. It was so cute. I cannot. But these are the topics that, you know, they're like near and dear to my heart. Like, listen, like my job is cool and all, like, you know, being a chick in the trades, it's fun, whatever, it's different. But like, when it comes down to it, like what I really love is the environment, is conservation. I love animals, you know, like I love that stuff. I love all the real things, you know. I feel like I don't, you know, when it comes to like the politics of certain things, I'm not interested, you know. I'm really not interested. Even like with my, you know, like I was saying solo to you, like with my Instagram, like I'm not like motivated to post like that. I don't know if it's because of my age, or it's because I don't have a camera in my face all the time, or it's, hey Jithan, what's going on, brother? It's weird to me. You know what I'm saying? Like having a camera by you all the time, posting every single thing that you do, posting it online, showing that you're working, but how much work are you really getting done? You know what I'm saying? Like it's not really my thing. So I feel like when people message me and stuff and I don't get back to them, they take it personally, but don't take it personally, because I'm just not on my phone a lot. I don't carry a smartphone everywhere. You know, I don't. So if anybody has any questions, let me know. My orientation locked again. I don't have it the other way. I just have it this way. I just like having my camera like this. I'm sorry for the, ooh, look at that smooth ride. Nice. Hold on, wait for that guy to leave so I can film his car. Yeah, I just have it like this. But if anybody has any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'm going to leave in a second. You know what I love about Sundays is you always see the nice cars. Sorry for the smooth ride. No, let me show you. Hold on. This bad boy. You always see the coolest classic cars. I actually saw a car, like a mini car show in the Staples parking lot yesterday, and that was cool. You see all the old classics and stuff like that. I love cars. I'm a big car person. I don't know a lot about cars, but I just appreciate, like, especially the older ones, like the Chevrolets and all that. I like those. Yeah, I'm off of work today. It's Sunday. I'm actually off. Yeah, it's vintage. I'm actually off the whole week. I took off. I'm looking at a couple colleges with my daughter, and then just getting a bunch of odds and ends stuff that I have to do. Yeah, it's nice. It's friggin' nice. Hold on. Let me roll down the window. Look at that bad boy. Yeah, I just need a break too. You know, I always try to take off a week in August. It's frowned upon, and I don't get paid for it, which stinks. But that's okay. Whatever. I need the time off, so that's how I feel. You ever go to vintage car shows? So I'm going to one actually in October. There's one in upstate New York, and I try to catch them when they're local, but I don't go too often. I have a good friend of mine that's big into vintage cars, so I really enjoy them. Like I said, I don't know much about them, but I appreciate them, and I'd much rather have that car than a Tesla, 100%. I'm not into the new cars. It's like I'm not, everybody makes fun of me because I drive like a mom minivan. I have a Honda Insight. I'm like, I'm not into the new car. I'm just not. I'm really not. Like I wanted to get a nice like BMW or something, but apparently they all use plastic parts. I have a friend that just bought a BMW, and he was telling me that it's been in the shop like 3 times. He's like, because they love plastic parts, and I'm like, yeah, of course they love, because it's cheap crap. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're paying for the name. They are very fragile. They're very fragile. And even like they have this technology where you hit something and it crunches up. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just not solid. It's not really like solid like that. I'd much rather take an older car. And that's why I feel comfortable like even driving like a minivan, because I'm like, at least it's bigger. It's a Honda Odyssey. It's nice. But like all these other cars, like these Teslas and things like that. I mean, why does everyone on Long Island have a Tesla? Don't people realize like they go on fire they'll just spontaneous combust? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. I don't know why so many people are into it. I'm not. Then they make it hard for you to fix, so you have to bring it to the shop. Exactly. They do it on purpose. They literally do it they do it so you have to order parts. The mechanic has to order parts, and then, you know what I mean, fix it there. It's that's what I think the conspiracy with the cars are, though. That's why they're pushing electric. And it's funny too, because a lot of like people who are like big on conservation, they're like, oh, we need electric. We don't have the grid for electric. We don't have to like harvest the friggin' iodized batteries. It takes so much energy. We literally don't have it. Tesla is a toy. Responsibilities makes US look comfortable for family, not for us. Yeah, I agree. Solo, you can't hear me? Can you guys hear me okay? No, Tesla's garbage. Garbage. There was one time I passed a Tesla fire, and there were cops, and like they had like a fire truck, and there were cops around it, and I don't know if you guys know this, but you can't put out a Tesla. You have to let it burn out. So I think it was like 6 hours that it was burning just on the side of the friggin' road. Now they have those new computer systems tools you have to get used to fix the cars. It's a scam. I agree with you 100%. And it's funny too, because like a lot of people like in that space would be like, oh, it's better for the environment. It is not better for the environment. Just burn the goddamn gas. And this is coming from someone that's an environmentalist. We don't have that technology. We do not have the technology. Our grid cannot support it. And I don't like the fact that it can be controlled. Your car can be theoretically shut off. Like, I don't think people realize that. And it's not a conspiracy theory. They can will certainly shut a Tesla off from like a command center. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you want to have no freedom? Or why would you want to give that control up? Whereas with a gas-powered truck, throw some gas in that bad boy. As long as you got it, you can get out, We have tech, it's not advanced, though. We have tech, it's not advanced. It's not advanced, no. And even with the solar panels, a lot of people don't realize that with the solar panels is that, like, it's not, like, some people swear by them, but even just the disposal of it, it's just not, you're not getting, it takes a lot of solar power to harvest energy. Same thing with the windmills. Like, I'm not a fan of the windmills because of what they do to the birds, our bald eagles, and like I just feel like it's cutting off your nose in spite of your face. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need fossil fuels at this point. Like, that's just my opinion. A lot of people are against it and the fracking and things like that, but I would think if anything, like, you're talking about burnouts, surges, possible grid collapses is because of the energy, like, in my opinion, like the electricity. It's a big friggin' problem. A lot of people don't want to address it because there's a lot of money involved in it. Tesla EV make environment safe. I don't know. Because there's no gas, that's what they say. I don't know. I don't really get it. The computer systems are totally sus. Yeah, I don't like it. I'll take an older car any day of the week. Because people tell me all the time, like, why don't you just buy a new car? You don't have a car payment. I was like, yeah, I'm just not going to just buy a new car, though. Like, I don't like the new cars. And everything, even like the ones that I was looking at. So I was looking at, what was I looking at? I was looking at a BMW that, like, I like the X line. And it's all electric. I'm like, I'm not getting it. Buy a truck and enjoy with full family. Yeah, I was looking into the trucks. But I drive a lot. That's the thing. Like, I'm on Long Island, so, like, my job's over an hour away from my house. So it's like, that gas right there, what am I going to spend $200 a week on gas, I like driving my minivan, and then I have my small car. The only reason why I'm not driving it right now is because it doesn't have an AC in it. And I'm past trying to like muscle out not having an AC. Screw that, man. It sucks when you're driving like that, and it's like it's awful. But I have almost 300,000 miles on that bad boy. I'm driving that to the wheels fall off, 100%. 100%. Not a fan though. I like old Chevy cars, trucks, easy to fix and rarely break down. Well, that's the thing. That's what you want. You want to have something that's easy to work on. I was looking at the aesthetic. I was like, oh, BMW is nice. You know, they have like I forgot what the Porsche one I liked too was nice. Because I'm graduating this year. I'm graduating my 5th year, so I wanted to get something nice. I was looking at a Range Rover, but then I'm like, it's you have to look at how it is to fix. I was spoiled rotten with my Honda. I've been spoiled rotten with it. You know, it's like I said, 300,000 miles almost. I think it's at a 297 or something like that, 298. And that's me. I'm the only driver. I'm the sole driver. I bought that bad boy when I had 1 mile on it back when I was 25. You know, I've had it for 12 years. And it's kicks ass. There's literally no reason for me to get rid of it. Literally drive it till the wheels fall off. And that's the thing too. Like people, I feel like when they buy really nice cars, they're just trying to impress people that they don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, or they want to have like a status. And I'm like, I'm just not with it. I'm not with it at all. I don't know what Scorpio is. I'm not sure what that is. But I was looking at like a Ford F-150 because of my job. But then I'm thinking, I'm like, if I was working close, I could do it. It's called Black Horse in India. You guys looking for power, but people from India looking for mileage because of the fuel price. No, I agree with you. That's me. I'm looking for the mileage. I want to see how much I can get, and I want to have the longevity. So I'd rather get a car that's a trusted brand that I don't have to. Like my sister had an Audi, and you know, it's like you have to go to like special mechanics for that. You know what I mean? It's just not. I'm not about it. Especially as a woman and stuff, I'm just not. I'm good. Try to learn to fix my own stuff, change my own tire. I remember I was trying to change my tire, and my one friend pulled over, and he had like the weird, funky equipment to do it that was different than mine, which would have been universal. I just left it at my house. So I thought that was funny. But sorry, I just missed a comment. Oh, then welcome to India. Yeah. Yeah. One day. Love to travel one day, for sure. You know, even like Mercedes and like, I don't know, there's a bunch of them. My friend swears by Volkswagen though. Loves Volkswagen. Those German cars though, they're great. They're great. They're just hard to fix, you know. You got to be like a little more in the know. My sister had a Silverado, needed a water pump and brakes. The shop tried to overcharge her. I went on YouTube and learned how to do it for her. Oops, hold on. Sorry. For myself and saved her a lot of money. Yeah. Well, that's the fact. Like, so a lot of people don't realize it. They'll say that it's not true, but it's most certainly true. When a woman goes to a body shop, does it, like, even as me as a plumber, I know nothing about cars. I'm not a mechanic. When they go to a body shop, you immediately get glazed off the top. Like, you already got a surcharge on the top. They can talk you into anything, you know. Especially as for women, because like we look at like the long haul, you know. They'll be like, oh, well, your shocks, you know, they don't need to get replaced yet. They really should get replaced. It's an easy upsell, especially if something's broken. Then you're like, screw it. If I'm here, I might as well do, you know what I mean? Like, there's like this whole, like, it's happened to me. It's straight up happened to me. I remember one time I went to a body shop, and my husband's like, just tell them you want this one thing. And I call him. I'm like, they need this, that, and the third. And he wound up going there, and then they just back down. It's unfortunate that happens, you know. And it won't change the way that I am with my business, you know, like with helping people with plumbing and stuff. But like, I know people that do that in plumbing too. They'll like, you have a leaky faucet, and like, oh, well, I can get them on this. I can get them on this. And I get it, but it's messed up. Ethically, I don't feel right doing that. In 2025, January to April, if you come to India, I can be your guide driver. Thanks, I appreciate that. I can't come anytime soon. I gotta finish this program. I got a lot going on. Jithin, are you from India too? Solo wants to know. But yeah, I think my first, so I'm going to Italy, and you know, that'll be fun. But yeah, everything's so freaking expensive. Everything's so expensive. Learn to do stuff yourself. Like, I mean, I'm already in the trades, and it's like learning like mechanics and stuff like that. I'm like, I'll just pay somebody for, but it really does help when you know stuff, or you at least know what you're talking about, so people don't take advantage of you. But even like Lexus, for example, right? So like, I just had a Lexus pull up over here. Apparently in Japan, Lexus isn't a thing because it's Toyota. It's literally just a souped up Toyota. A lot of people don't know that. And they don't even sell Lexus in Japan because people know they're like, oh, I'm not going to buy a freaking Lexus if it's just, a souped up Toyota. I would get Toyota's good. I was actually looking at a Toyota Land Cruiser. They're hard to buy though, and they're expensive. And I don't know, that's the thing too. I'm not trying to have this like crazy car payment for a car, something that will literally drop in value the moment that you breathe onto the highway. You know what I'm saying? Like as soon as you drive on the highway, it drops like 20%. It's insane. Like the depreciation on a new car is just outrageous. That's why I like what Dave Ramsey says with having someone else take that depreciation hit and then buying a pre-owned car. But the problem is after COVID, at least here in New York, a lot of like pre-owned cars are expensive. Like they're very, very expensive. It's so crazy. But yeah. Just looking at all the cars that are here. It's all like high-end cars. You have Maserati, you have a Porsche, you have a BMW, tons of BMWs, Mercedes, Cadillac. I had a Cadillac CTS like 15 years ago. It was all right. It just needed work, they just all need work. And the luster wears off. Once you realize how many repairs. I like G-Wagon. I do like G-Wagon. I would get a G-Wagon. I'd like a matte green G-Wagon with blacked out windows. I would love that. But it's $150. How am I gonna drive a G-Wagon 150 grand? You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that's a big target. And I'll say this much, I know a lot of very wealthy people that drive very modest cars because the real flex is not having to show that you have money. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to flex on people that you have money. Especially because a lot of times, like you can drive in luxury, but a lot of times people are doing it to have a certain like aesthetic, People get cars for status, but go in debt trying to pay off their... Exactly. That's what I'm saying, though. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. I wanted something that was nice, but I can get a Toyota that's nice, that has all the bells and whistles that a Lexus does without paying for the Lexus name. Is Brabus a sub-brand? I don't know. I don't know. I've never heard of that before. G-Wagon is a beast. Lexus the premium segment of Toyota, right? I heard so on YouTube. Yeah, Lexus is like their luxury tier. But my sister drives a Lexus. I have 4 sisters, by the way. So when I say my sister, I'm usually talking about different ones. But my one sister has a Lexus, and it's nice. But I've test drove Toyotas that are nice. The same damn car, it's the same thing, in my opinion. Wealthy people stay wealthy by being frugal. It's true. It's absolutely true. I have one friend who is a very, very, very wealthy woman. She, her and her husband, they're a Polish family, and they got accused of poor fishing. Okay, I met them in my kids' school. My kids go to private school, and they get accused. They're an older couple, not too older, but they have like health problems and stuff. They're in their 50s, but they get accused of poor fishing because people don't don't dress the best. They dress in like very modest clothes. Very like down, like even I would say even like dress lazy, if that makes sense. And the wife was driving a Camry for 20 years. She learned how to drive in it because she didn't start driving until her 20s. And she had it for a long time, and it was like dented, all this other stuff. And this woman owns like 15 houses. And when you find this out about her, when you really dig deep, and you're like, why don't you drive something nicer? Oh, because my car's fine. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's the mentality. But then you have these kids. I see it as apprentices too. You got these guys who are getting into the apprenticeship program. They're hitting second, third year upgrades, and they're buying a $90,000 truck, $300 a week in friggin' gas, paying $1,000 a month for a car note. It's like no wonder you have no money, and no wonder you can't afford anything, and you're going out to eat every single day. It's like that. It's true. That's what keeps people poor. Is their behaviors. Do you like automatic or manual? Manual gear shift. I'm a manual chick. My sister and I, we know how to drive manual. I like that it's easier on the motor. You know what I'm saying? A gas, specifically if it's diesel. I was actually thinking of getting a Volkswagen diesel. Unnecessary bills, 100%, 100%. And for what? For what? To have a pissing contest when you're driving out of a parking lot with another guy that has the same truck, like it's crazy. I remember one time I was driving this like young kid was in the car. I had my Honda Insight, and he's like he's trying to race me, especially when they see you have a manual car. And he's trying to, I was like, I'm not racing you, bro. Like, I'll race you off the road. Like, I'm not racing you. And then when they go and you're not going, it's like, it's so anticlimactic. You know what I'm saying? But, no, it's just funny. It's just, people are funny. In general, are very funny. But be confident of who you are and what you bring to the table, and you don't have to buy name brand stuff, because what you wear and what you do is your vibe, like what you drive, that's like your aesthetic, you know what I'm saying? I don't need to rock a friggin', Corvette to be like, I'm a bad chick, you know what I'm saying? As gay as it sounds, like, or corny as it sounds, rather, I shouldn't say gay. It's all about perspective. I know people with every pair of Jordans but no car. It's true. I agree. That's hilarious that you say that. There's this one guy I was working with that, everything was Nike, nice pair of shoes, and he had nothing. He was like hitching rides and stuff, It's like, it's really all about perspective. But yeah, it's just not my thing. It's not my thing at all. Like, this is like Old Navy, like it's not like, and I'll just try to be as presentable as possible, and that's it, It's crazy how the keeping up with the Joneses is such a thing, but people don't realize the Joneses are broke, I love that saying. It's crazy. But I'm going to get driving. I'm going to get home. I got to make some dinner. And yeah, I was talking about this in my other live. So my welding career, I guess, is over right now, which I don't know how to handle. I think I'm still going to go with the certification program, but I just found out that I have this eye issue. It's called center. Oh, I forget what it's called. Heterochromia. Showing off is not good. That's an ego thing. Central heterochromia. It's when you have multicolor eyes, and I thought it was just a look, and they're like, no, it's a defect. And like a lot of times it's seen in inbreeding. I was like, oh, inbreed. I was like, oh, all right. It's like an OCD, possibly inbred. I was like, I thought I had a cool eye color, but now it's apparently I'm blind. So there's that. So I might still take my welding certification next year, but I think as far as like being behind the hood, it's so funny too, because I just got two welding helmets yesterday from my old boss. So aside from being behind the hood all day, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that. I'm a TIG welder, so it's it's a bummer. So I'm glad I segued into plumbing. But I don't know if anybody in the comment section has been familiar with welding, but like I rock a Miller helmet and a Lincoln helmet now, and I'm on the highest setting. You got the 28 days later condition. What's that? I don't know what that is. Yes, I'm actually a TIG welder. Yeah, I'm an aluminum and steel TIG welder. That's how I got into the trades. I did that, and then yeah, that was I. So when I went to the doctor, I was like, my eyes are just really bright. He's like, yeah. Well, he's like, people with heterochromia, they have they have bright eyes. As you get older, you gotta be careful. I was like, what is that? What are you talking about? He's like, how do you not know you have heterochromia? I was like, I don't know. Like, how the hell was I supposed to know that? Apparently, it's like less than 1% of the population. I was like, of course. Oh, speaking of Tesla. I'm just not. Hold on. I'll like scroll down the window in a second. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's cool. It's cool. It's all right. But when I look at a Tesla, I'm just thinking like someone's controlling that. I did welding once, but at night I can't sleep. Well, I mean, listen, welding's good to know. 100%, it's good to know. It's good to know. It's great. I've welded on boats. I've done all types of welding. Yeah, this bad boy right here. Like okay, it's all right. It's cool, but it's not. I mean, it's definitely cooler on the inside. But do you know that? So I know somebody that has a Tesla, and did you know that if you nick any, like even just a little bit of the glass, you have to replace the entire panel, which is like $500, or probably even more than that actually. But because it's like digitized, no, screw that, man. I'm good. Give me my hardware. It's an RC car. I know. It looks like something out of Toy Story. Like if you guys ever seen Toy Story, that's what it looks like. It's not like sexy to me. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I don't know. I feel like I've seen, a Nissan that's better looking. I don't know. I'm just not into it. I don't know. Trying to see what other. I think a Prius looks better than a Tesla. Even like those cars. the Jeeps. I heard. So does anybody remember? Does anybody? I don't know if anybody knows this. I've asked this in a chat. Oh, I don't think I actually have. I talked about this recently though. There was this Australian guy that went to a Jeep dealership, and he bought a brand new dealership. I'm sorry, he bought a brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee, and it was a lemon. And he was in Australia. He's going back and forth, going to the top of the line, fighting with these people, saying he got a lemon, all this stuff. They refused to help him, so he spent $100,000 and made a music video, completely talking crap about the Jeep Grand Cherokee. I can't find it. I don't know where this music video is. I have to actually sit down and like look for it. But I remember it being like a big thing, and I thought it was hilarious. He was an Indian guy, and he was furious about his Jeep Grand Cherokee. I like the way they look. I'm actually looking at, my sister's got a Grand Wagoneer. There's one over there, but I can't. I don't know if I can film it. Hold on. That guy. The Wagoneers are cool. But yeah, that's. I always liked Jeep until I heard they sucked, and then I got rid of it. I'm thinking about. I'm also looking at like a Yukon or a Denali. I think those are cool. But we'll see. We'll see what. I'm not rushing to get into debt at all. And I ideally would like to just buy the car, you know. But Indian guy, can you give some keywords? I'll search for it. Jeep Grand Cherokee, lemon, Australia. Music video. Guy calls out Jeep Grand Cherokee. Grand Cherokee lemon, like I just like that kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I would look into. See, the Hyundais are coming through. So that's a nice, that looks nice, right? I feel like the Hyundai looks nice. Oh, there's a Hyundai Sonata right in front of me. But like the Palisade, they're stepping up their game, you know? Like I just feel like, and even the Hyundais, like they're expensive. When I was looking at Hondas, I was looking at the Pilots and stuff. You know, some of these souped up, you know, vehicles are like friggin' 40, 50 grand, you know, like they're not cheap anymore, you know. I paid $25,000 for my Insight, and I had almost $300,000 on it. It's paid me. This car was hit when I was parked last year, and I got $3,000 from the insurance. The car has now paid me. Do you know what I'm saying? So even just with gas, I drive all over the place. I maybe fill my tank every 4 days, cost me $30. Like it's sick, you know, it's awesome. And I'm talking like I put miles on my car. I drive far and wide, you know. I'm driving an hour to work. I'm driving an hour, you know, completely opposite direction, coming back to my house. Like it's crazy. I'm always on the road. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna let you go. It was nice catching up with everybody. I'll go live again this week, probably during like daytime, maybe a little earlier than this because I'm off this week. So thank you guys for tuning in. If anybody has any questions, let me know in the comments below. Sorry, see, I always have to like squint. It's such a problem. I got a video, Jeep Grand Cherokee, what a lemon. I'll find it, and I'll find it for you. It was a literal music video. It's a music video. I haven't seen it in years, but it was good. It was really good. You want to hear something stupid really quick? So you see how they have these little houses? It took them over 10 years to get approved for that in the town of Smithtown, because they weren't allowed to build a structure. So you have to bring your carts all the way to the inside of the store. And I wouldn't do it because these people, there's car people. I don't want to take their job, you know what I mean? But I would always give it to the car person. But I thought that was funny because now I see them and I'm like, I'm not going to use, I was like, you guys can handle that. I've been doing this for 10 years. People complained about not being able to park their carts anywhere. And now you suddenly have a building and expect everybody to comply. But anyway, guys, I will let you go. I will catch you back again on the next live. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll do like a Q&A sit down. I have people that message me all the time on Instagram, just asking random questions. I'm going to put a list together and I'll just do a live one day coming up soon. Channel name Selfless Music Records is it's older. It's older. Check it out. You might like it. Check it out. It's an older song, but it was just to trash. I just love the flex of trashing, of being like, you know what, screw you people. I'm not buying another Jeep. I'm just going to make a music video and trash your brand. Like, I thought it was hilarious. Definitely worth looking into, in my opinion. But I like it. Let me know how you like it, Jithan. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll check you back again on the next